9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Monday, everybody. This is your PR princess, your timeless elite, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me, on this Monday edition of WWT Live. Obviously, of course, it has been a nice weekend, but if you're in the East Coast, it is still hot. So please make sure to stay cool, drink a lot of water, keep yourself cooled off, because hopefully we will get some relief this weekend. And of course, we're going to talk all things wrestling. But thankfully, I'm not alone on this Monday edition. I'm very excited that she's back with me, because who says you can't love wrestling and pageantry all together? I'm very happy to have Miss Victoria Waco in the building on a Monday.
Hello, everyone. And there's so much to talk about.
There is. How was your weekend?
It was good, enjoying, again, I live, us in the North Country, as I refer to New York and New Jersey, the tri-state area, really know to enjoy summer because winter is coming.
Yes, that part right there. So hopefully we are enjoying the last few weeks of summer, because fall will be here before you know it. Shout out to Eric Isaac in the chat, and we're just going to get started because, courtesy of our producer from the future at the top of the hour, we have Monday Night Raw happening 8 p.m. tonight on Netflix. If you saw what happened last week after Monday Night Raw was ending, Rey Mysterio talked to Roman Reigns, and we did talk about this on Friday, that there is going to be a tournament happening where we're going to see some people from AAA, and the winner will face off against Roman Reigns when Raw comes to Mexico City. Obviously, one of the first matches that we're going to have Penta taking on Laredo Kid one-on-one in one of the first early rounds in the #1 contenderships tournament. So I know these guys are definitely going to take the house down. And if you haven't been paying attention to AAA, you're in for a special treat, because some of this will be on Monday Night Raw. We're also going to have Tozawa take on Austin Theory. If you saw last week, this has kind of been going back and forth with Otis and Tozawa taking on the Vision along with Maxine. But these guys are going to square off one-on-one, and excited that Tozawa is going to get singles action tonight on Netflix on Monday Night Raw. And of course, the man is back. Becky Lynch is back, and we're going to hear what she has to say, especially if you encounter she had with Liv Morgan last week. There's a lot to say, and I think we're going to see some interesting things happening in the women's world title picture. And we're also going to hear from La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. She returned last week, and we're also going to hear her thoughts, because I know she had some thoughts to say, especially in the women's world title picture. And we're also going to have a women's tag team match. We're going to have Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez of the Judgment Day take on Sol Ruca and a mystery partner of her choosing. Who's it going to be? Well, we're not going to know. You just have to wait and see at the top of the hour tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. And I heard from word on the street there will be a Monday Night Mare happening. I think said maybe doing a post show. We shall see, because I know we did a post show last week. He's starting to get back in there. Hopefully the check cleared. But Victoria, is there a match or a segment in particular that you're excited about Monday Night Raw?
I mean, anytime you put Penta in the ring, and especially against someone from AAA, it's going to be phenomenal. Like, we just know. So excited for that. The other thing is, I am starting to feel like Becky Lynch's break glass and release Becky whenever things get really boring in any part of the women's division. So excited to see what they're actually going to do with her, especially with Stephanie also being back. But looking forward to the Penta match. And, like little Tozawa, I have a deep love and care for Tozawa, and hopefully they do something really fun there. It's this really, the Vision's really in this odd place. I feel like where you thought they were going to be like so up high on the card, and they're kind of like in the middle right now. So curious to see what they'll do next with them. What about you?
Yeah. And shout out to Lynette in the chat. I don't know if it's going to be La Primera as the mystery partner because she's going to be speaking. Maybe a caller from NXT. You may not know. Penta, I'm very excited about because Friday we actually went through who was going to be in the tournament. Obviously, it's going to be majority of AAA. We're going to have La Parka, we're going to have Psycho Clown, and many other people. And I kept thinking, I got to go with Penta because there's no way for him to drop the Intercontinental title and just have him be in the world title picture. He doesn't have to win it right away, but just have him be in the title picture because he has the presence, he has the charisma. A lot of people like him. Like he's beloved everywhere. So I think that's something to do. And I think people do not know he used to wrestle at AAA. Like way before he got into mainstream wrestling, he was able to wrestle. So I think I'm very excited to see Penta. I'm excited that Tozawa is getting a singles match on Monday Night Raw. That's exciting to me. I know people think like, oh, that's boring, but I'm excited to see Tozawa in a singles match. And I think with the vision and the tag team titles picture, because obviously, of course, we haven't seen the Street Profits, obviously, for obvious reasons. But of course, the tag team division on Raw seems a little bit mediocre because there's not that many tag teams out there. So I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but obviously, of course, and it's funny you said Becky's the emergency glass because that's the same way they talked about Seth. Like, oh, if it gets boring, call Seth and have him break the emergency glass.
No, it is kind of funny. She popped up like a bad penny in the best girl way. But what's interesting because they gave her that new theme music because she was a heel, but now like she came out and she's definitely a baby face again. I mean, especially against Liv Morgan, I feel like she'll make anyone into a baby face.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all what's happening. A little preview on Monday Night Raw at the top of the hour, 8 p.m. on Netflix, and I think we may be getting a Monday Nightmare happening. Maybe not a watch along, but a post show, I believe. So now let's get in because we were talking about her before we got on, Miss Chelsea Green. If you did see her socials that she posted over the weekend, she did confirm an injury that last Friday on SmackDown. She did suffer an injury during the match. She actually took socials herself yesterday because obviously, of course, there are some dirt sheets that don't provide the let me rephrase that. Not most of the accurate information because sometimes it's kind of out of water. But Chelsea took it to herself where she confirmed that she suffered a broken orbital bone. She went out to say, I did get injured last night. Stuff happens. It's live television. It's wrestling. It's an occupational hazard. I ended up in the emergency room and I have a broken orbital bone. It looks amazing. All things considered, it feels awful, but looks pretty amazing. I have no idea what that means for me. Usually you guys have seen me play into every single injury, but this feels different. Obviously, it feels frustrating. I'm upset. I feel like if I didn't have bad luck, I've have had no bad luck at all. So I just need to take a little bit more time to like process and to heal from the head trauma that is going on right now. Then we'll see what happens. But we here do wish Chelsea Green a speedy recovery.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I was one of those people when she got that title belt, the level of joy I had in my body for that moment. So I hope she gets well really soon. I hope she's not out for a long time. I don't know like really what the healing process is like for that, but she just so deserves this moment to shine. And I hope she still gets it.
I hope so too. I just don't want her to be cursed because it sucks because she got the belt. And then obviously, of course, trying to blame Fatal Influence because Bree's now injured. She's now injured. And I don't want to say it's out of luck because it happens in wrestling. Like it's live TV. Some of this, and it's funny. We don't like to when people say the F word, but the moves they do are real and they suffer real life injuries. And this really does happen. I'm hoping it's not too serious of an injury. Maybe she'll play along with it because I know when she, in the past injury, she would come in with either a leg brace or a face mask or something. So I think she may play along with it a bit.
A bedazzled mask.
Yeah, I think she's gonna play along with this because we've seen her in the past do stuff like this, and obviously she took a homage of her husband, Matt Cardona. So she has a few ideas up her sleeve, and I think she'll probably keep it entertaining.
Absolutely.
And I think with the fact too, even when she was injured in that wheelchair, everybody was chanting for Chelsea.
Yeah. She's phenomenal.
She is. And also, we're going to keep the subject on Chelsea for a bit because we've seen this some of the shift happening. So, Chelsea was on the Nikki and Marie show today, and she actually had an interesting conversation because I think this might have been brought up before, but she said she's ready to start a family. She goes on to say, I'm 35. I want to start a family. Matt and I have started this new era where we get annoyed with each other. It's more like, you need to change this before we have kids. You can't be doing that. I'll do it all the time. This poor man is so sick of it. I'm 35. I wanted to have kids 5 years ago before I came back. And we decided together that I would come back to WWE so that I wouldn't have any resentment towards our future family and us. Now that I've done the thing, won the title, so if it happens, God willing, I would be so happy. I feel like 35 is such an amazing age, and I'm only getting better.
I mean, interesting now too, especially with the injury. We've seen with Bianca Belair, right? She went on the injury, then she ended up, of course, having her her first baby. But like more power to her. They did just build that beautiful house with a special room for Nick Cardona's action figures collection. So I hope they do, and I think it's no longer that if you have a baby, you never wrestle again. We've seen it with Alexa Bliss. We've seen it with Becky. Their ability to get back in the ring and, rebound. And then, the schedule's a little lighter now. So there is a little bit more like home life balance.
Yeah, that's always something. And shout out to Boza. And we do have a new person. Shout out to Sarah LLC. And it's funny because we were talking about this last week because Bianca had her baby and so did Naomi and everything else. And I think that's just something. And I'm going to tell you, like, Chelsea can have the kids because I could say for a person that is 35 and wants to have kids in the future, there is no shame on having kids at 30. I mean, Meghan Markle, she had kids when she was like close to 40, and there's many people that have had it at 35, 36. So there's no shame in that, and I'm really happy that she wants to have a family. And like her and Matt would be very great parents, especially with the fact to see like the whole rack of Matt's toy collection, and with the fact he has a podcast focused on wrestling figures.
I mean, and also let's just say that baby is going to be adorable.
Yes, I think. I mean,
so that gene pool is going to create something adorable. Even though, let's hope it doesn't get Matt's love of super dark self tanners.
I hope so not either, but I feel like I feel like they would be very great parents. And I think if you saw Unreal and you saw the clip of them two together, they are just really a hoot together. And with the fact too, they do support each other. Like they help out people who got released. Doesn't matter if they're in WWE or AEW or whatever. They just want to help out people to get succeed. So they are giving back to the industry. And I can't think of a better person for Chelsea to be a mother. And hey, I don't want to have a problem with that. And even if she has that baby and she takes care of everything, because we've seen friends who've had babies, they had to deal with postpartum depression and had to take care of a lot of stuff. There's no rush to it because when you get back, you'll be okay.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Think of the outfits too.
I'm trying to imagine the outfits and like Matt Cardona playing like this is who the wrestler is, like with the wrestling figure. It would be so hilarious and cute to watch. Oh my god.
That would be a reality show. Someone earlier in the chat, I think Boza was saying that should be a reality show. 100%. They deserve their own show. Just let them at it.
I mean, they should. I mean, we saw a little bit of Unreal because they were really funny together. They were so funny. And also make sure to check out Matt Cardona's interview with Chris Van Vliet because it is hilarious. And I love that he definitely talks about Chelsea in a very high manner. Like, he says, "That's my wife." He says, "That's my hot wife."
I always love that. Same thing with Rhea Ripley's husband. Like when he was on and he just gushed about her. And I was just like, oh, I love that. Everyone needs to marry a man like that.
And even
Or,
Juice Robinson, even
the
Juice Rob,
person needs to be like that.
and even when Juice Robinson sat down with Renee, he was gushing about Tony Storm, and he was like, "Oh, Tony's my best friend," and he even talked about the time that him and Tony met. It's just so nice to watch, and saying that he's proud of her, of all the success and just everything. It just makes me happy to see. But speaking of ships, so we found out regarding the John Cena Classic, where it's allegedly still planned. So pretty much, I think we probably did talk about this back in May, when in Backlash John Cena appeared and he revealed that the company plans to launch a new tournament called the John Cena Classic, and pretty much it's going to explain that the bracket will be a mix of main roster talent and NXT stars, providing a showcase for up and coming talent. And it was also mentioned the tournament involving a fan voting aspect, which would affect the bracket's results. And we have known it has been unclear, but courtesy of an update from Fightful, it has noted that the Cena inspired tournament is still planned for later this year, and it's supposed to be having a December target date. But obviously, of course, that could change. The new report from Fightful also sheds light on Cena's current deal with WWE. He's reportedly in a multi-year agreement as an ambassador for WWE. While no discussion of Cena ever wrestling elsewhere reportedly has taken place, it was noted that he's not contractually not able to anyway. And Victoria, I just want to get your quick thoughts on this, because I'm pretty sure we talked about this in May, and there was not that much discussion. Like, it was cried under the rug. And now it's being brought up in discussion. And is it possible we could see one before the end of this year?
I mean, like, I have hope it's happening. I am still very curious about how this format will all work, because I know there's going to be a fan component to it. I do, like, it would make sense for it to be in December, especially thinking back to Unreal this last season, where he talked about wanting to have his retirement match in December because it's a low time. It's like the least profitable quarter for the company. But I also think that I'm hoping they, kind of start getting more stuff out about it and how this is going to work. And if it really can highlight younger talent, I think that's awesome. I think that's important. They're the future of this industry. But yeah, I have hope it's going to happen. I just would like to see a little bit more concrete stuff happening with it.
Well, in the world that we love in professional wrestling, not everything is concrete. It did seem very interesting, and it was very quiet. And now it's talks of it possibly being again. And Bosa, it wouldn't shock me if it went against the Continental Classic, because we know the Continental Classic always happens after Full Gear. And then Thanksgiving Eve, it starts. So it would not shock me at all, because like I said, WWE's PLEs are done after Survivor Series, and I would not be shocked if they did it during Saturday night's main event in December, because I know they did it last December, but we shall see on that. I'm always in for competition. That does not shock me at all, especially with the fact, but also the Continental Classic has been around for the last couple years, so I'm not surprised that WWE wants to pull this out of the bag now. But I'm very curious the timeline, logistics, and how this is going to work, and also what participants are you going to add to the tournament?
Like, will we see anyone from AAA?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Could we see? Because you mentioned NXT, you mentioned main roster. Could we also see somebody return?
Maybe some of the people on LFG. Well, that season will be done, though, by then, yeah. I think.
Yeah, it would not shock me if they had LFG, and it would be great. I would not be shocked if they had people from Evolve. because Evolve's been killing it. If you have not followed Evolve on socials, they have been doing a great work. So I would not be shocked if they picked up some people from Evolve. But it is a developing story. Hopefully, we should have more stuff happening in the coming months. And also, we're shifting gears to TNA because it's interesting. TNA is in a very weird spot because some of the releases that have been happening with the past 2 months lately, courtesy of Fightful, there has been a report that TNA plans to bring in more women's wrestlers to the Knockouts division following the departures of Mara Sade and Jody Threat. And a lot of ladies in the independent scene are really trying to shoot their shot in a way. And also with the recent signing of Gabby Forza that happened last week, a lot of ladies in the independent scene are really shooting their shot. Like Vicious Vicky, Allie Catch, and many other people are really much trying to make it into the knockouts. And Victoria, I want to ask you this question because I don't know how familiar or if you follow TNA a lot, but what are your thoughts on this, especially with the fact that we just had recent releases with Mara and Jody, but we did sign Gabby last week. And also with the fact, too, we do hear that there are going to be a few more ladies possibly added to the Knockout roster.
I'm loving this. When they have done the releases, I've been a little like, there hasn't been much going on when I've tuned in to TNA with the women's division, the Knockouts division. So I'm excited for there to be new blood. I also think with it's a great chance for those on the indies to get TV exposure now too, with TNA being on television every week. So I'm excited for this, like new blood and getting new women in front of more people is always a good thing to me, I feel like. And I'm hoping that, they'll like get some creative juices around them and really, make some powerful storylines about, the new up and coming new girls in the roster.
I think that's something because I kind of talked about this because I do a watch on for TNA covering the Knockouts TV tournament. And it's very interesting because it's like you release some of these ladies, and I'm always happy for anybody getting an opportunity. I just think, because I mentioned this, they're in rebuild mode. They're in rebuild mode, and this kind of followed after the whole situation with Masha. Obviously, Tessa parted ways with TNA. So that is a little bit of a huge blow. And then you kind of have to think like, okay, who is ready to lead? I said for me, I would love to see Xia Brookside lead because with the fact she is the Knockouts world champion.
Yeah.
She has been putting a lot of work in. And with the fact too, she's the first person from the UK to be TNA Knockouts world champion, which I don't know why people are not talking about it, but I do think that's also important too, because people don't realize the Knockouts have a rich history. They have a very rich history. There's so much to do. I love the deals. I mean, obviously, of course, we know TNA doesn't sign long-term deals because I just want to read the books. I want to read, I want to be that little fly on the wall to see what happens internally and everything else. But I do think this is something that TNA really needs to go forward on, especially if they want to do deals. I mean, obviously, of course, contracts, you want to read the contracts first, but also they are doing partnerships because I did see they did a partnership with Dude Wipes last week. So I think that's something they kind of really need to think about, and also bringing more revenue. They have to bring in more revenue, especially if you want some long-term deals. Because I don't want them to sign a short-term deal and then they have to leave. But I think that's something they're gonna have to figure out because they're back at square one. Because it's the same way they did when they first started. So I want TNA to succeed. I do not want them to die because there is a lot of history in TNA. So I'm hoping, because as I mentioned, the Knockouts division is rebuilding. Hopefully we get some new blood and we'll see that happens. And yeah, Bose, I am going to do a case study on TNA because there's a lot of interesting stuff that happened in the last 2-3 months in TNA that kind of needs to be saturated.
We need a timeline deep dive.
I know. It's like a deep dive we need. It's like a deep dive we need to do because, like I said, there's just been so much happening with TNA. It's like, oh my god! Like between the releases and trying to get new promotions and everything else, it's just okay. We need to see where this is gonna go. But another thing that you need to do that we won't be doing a deep dive on is the Women's Wrestling Archive because it's a new initiative we have on Women's Wrestling Talk because we celebrate the past, the present, and the future of women's wrestling.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might think he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
For the Women's Wrestling Archive, $1, $2, $3, $4, $100, $200, everything that you can to support the Women's Wrestling Archive. And I knew this was going to be a story that we're going to talk about because this has been blowing up over the weekend. So, you guys know AJ Styles' son wrestled during SummerSlam weekend at a show, at a GCW show in Minneapolis. AJ Styles and I hope I say the promoter's name right, Arik Cannon argued publicly over whether Styles' son Avery should have helped with setup at a GCW show in Minneapolis over SummerSlam weekend. It started with Natty speaking to the Wrestling Classic during a SummerSlam media junkie, well, media scrum, I should say. She praised Avery Styles and Marcus Matthews for their match at GCW's Rude Awakening, which she attended, saying she would love to get Avery into the dungeon and that he wants to pay his dues. And obviously Fightful posted that. Cannon, a Minneapolis native for more than 20 years in the business, responded, as someone who watched this kid skirt away from helping with a single thing at this very show, I just say L-O-effing-L. Styles, of course, retweeted him and said he was paid to wrestle at GCW, not help you put up and take down the ring. That sounds like your job. You sound like a jealous douche. And pretty much they kind of go back and forth on all this, and it's just like pretty much I'll explain this. Cannon answered, I have all the respect in the world for you, AJ. I understand why you defend your son. It is admirable, but the fact remains he could stay AJ's kid, continuing to skirt responsibilities and paying dues, or he can respect of his peers and stay on his own as Avery. And pretty much AJ Styles says, you don't ask someone to have dinner at your house and have them do the dishes. He was asked to wrestle at GCW. Although grateful for the opportunity, a vet would have talked to him professionally or at least face to face. And then Cannon tried to defend. A 20-year veteran and promoter asked him to help with the chairs twice. Instead of helping, he hid in the locker room until everything was done. My 2 cents isn't going to affect his future, but with all due respect, you stating he doesn't need to help is only him doing a disservice. And also with the fact his son is 19 years old and he's starting to get into wrestling. Woo! Victoria, do you have anything to say before I put in my 2 cents?
Well, there's one, there's many sides to any story, right? And somewhere in the middle of it is actually the truth. But, the optics can be bad. I mean, I think it really depends how AJ's son deals with it moving forward. I think, you don't want the optics and you don't want it getting around the independent scene that you're a prima donna, especially when you're still that green and learning this. But also I wonder if it was a little bit of we're doing it to his kid because we want him to be on the bot. There's so many ways to look at it. So I could see why someone might be upset. I also see why he might be that's not my job. Also, like, to be fair, anyone who goes through a developmental, I don't think they're making you do the rings at the performance center. Like, I think it's kind of a different era when that was expected of you to wrestle. He was just paid to do a gig. But I could also see him being viewed as very ungrateful, and that could hurt him getting other shows.
It's funny that they didn't have the same energy with Sting's son, even before he was signed with AEW. And I'm going to say this as a person that does commentary in the independent scene and have seen some backstage stuff. Now, granted, let's be very clear. His son was invited by GCW, not the promoter, by GCW to be paid. And I think there's some stuff that should have happened behind the scenes instead of blowing up on social media, because this can really get ugly very quick. And I just think there are just some conversations you do not need to post on social media. And that's why the term professional wrestling, keyword professionalism, that tends to be a little bit hard to do. And with the fact that at least he should have had a conversation one-on-one backstage saying, hey, you could do, like, doing simple stuff, not like too crazy. But I know when I did commentary, they've always had people from WrestlePro, because it's a school that's in WrestlePro, not too far from ISPW, and they take down the ring, which is fine because, it's just getting your foot in the door. That's a thing. It's true. But if you're also bringing somebody that's a little bit out of state that had to pay, and if it was talked over and negotiated, I don't think that should be an issue. But I do think that they should have at least had a conversation backstage. I think there should have been conversations. It did not need to blow up on socials. And also with the way the promoter said, I think it's just a little bit of bragging and you're not being very humble about it, because we've seen some promoters that can do very shady things. And I think that's really important, is to bring back the professional aspect of it, because there are some that pretty much use social media as a diary and open book, and that does not help, because some of these conversations should have happened behind closed doors. And I'm saying this not just as a person that does commentary. I do PR work during the day. I've seen some of this stuff happen and blow up, and I do think that is really, really important to really consider, because it's funny that they're giving him a lot of grief on this, but you're not giving it to Sting's son, and he's wrestling before AEW. That just seems very odd in a way. But and yeah, Bo, so like you said, with Produce Wrestling, like, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's happening. Like Joey Janela, he put out a lot of stuff too, and that's why Steph Delander's not wrestling anymore, because of behind the scenes stuff. And I just think promoters have to do better. There are some promotions that are doing great work, but I do think there are some that are doing shady work. And I think that's kind of the thing that we kind of need to be really open-minded about, and self-awareness, especially with the fact there's just so much stuff happening. And also when it comes to with sexual assault, especially towards women, that's also another thing too. And thankfully we do have a platform that has women's wrestling talk, because we take that seriously when it comes to women. Doesn't matter what level they're in, all promotions. And I think that's something that we do need to keep really talking about. I'm happy that some promotions are doing great, but obviously, of course, there's going to be some rotten eggs, rotten apple people, but we shall see on that. But I do think that is a current discussion that we need to continue, especially on women's wrestling talk. We have to be self-aware on this.
Yeah, stop being keyboard warriors, people.
Yes. And also, if you have never worked backstage at an independent show or anything else, don't say anything. But I think that's something we kind of need to consider. And it's funny because we're going from promoters to influencers. Claudio Castagnoli, somebody asked him this, and I thought this was really fascinating for us to talk about. So Claudio Castagnoli shares his thoughts on influencers joining wrestling. Celebrity appearances are a topic that has fans divided for quite some time. Some believe that they are part of the business, while others believe they shouldn't be prioritized over actual wrestlers who've been running for years. Speaking with Sky Sports recently, Claudio Castagnoli said that celebrities getting involved in wrestling isn't a new thing. He then discussed social media influencers becoming wrestlers. He goes on to say, this is not a brand new thing. There was always celebrities or maybe football. Like in the past was more football players, for example, or bodybuilders or stuff like that. Now it's influencers because of how everything evolved, as much as that is a part of the business because it brings in a new audience and it keeps things interesting. I feel the core of the wrestling business is still wrestling, and you shouldn't lose that. And you could actually watch the full interview on Sky Sports YouTube page. But Victoria, I definitely want to get your quick thoughts on this and how do you feel? Because I feel like there's just like so many mixed reactions when it comes to influencers entering the wrestling space.
There are, and I think it really comes down to how they're used, their role, and like their genuine influence or like care about the industry, right? So like when you see like when Pod Meets World does something with one of the wrestling promotions, that like she loves it. This is something she talks about all the time. So it makes total sense to have her do something. Or like when we saw, like Bad Bunny, like talk about someone who like they figured out how to use him in the ring in a really good way, and he was a big fan. I am still waiting for Lin-Manuel Miranda to do something because he talks about how much he loves wrestling, and like, come on, give me my moment of like another one of my worlds colliding. But I think sometimes it feels just very forced, and I think you can think of like in the early mid 2000s, there was a period where it felt like there were a lot of celebrity appearances all the time, and it was kind of like, I love Pee Wee Herman, rest his soul. And like seeing him on Raw was like one of the highlights of my like older youth. But like, did it really make sense? Like,
It's
no.
Or like when Bob Barker was a guest host on Raw and they did The Price is Right. They did God bless Bob Barker's soul. I think it kind of goes to it because you just have to make it make sense. Like if there are some celebrities who love wrestling, especially influencers, I'm like, okay, because wrestling is for everybody. And I said this like a couple weeks ago. You just have to be very mindful of who you bring to the space, especially with media, because there are some that probably are not trained to do media. They have probably never had the experience to interview people before. So that's something to really keep in mind, and especially checking out their socials, because if they started just to watch wrestling and they didn't post any throwback photos, that's something I would be very concerned. Especially, if they started out watching wrestling, fine, because now wrestling is like hotter than ever. I never have a problem with anybody, but I don't like it when people like jump on the wagon of wrestling just because it's now hotter and popular, where you and I, and along with the rest of our panel, we have been fans for years. We've seen almost everything and we are still here. So I think that's something to keep in mind, especially with the influencer side. I don't have a problem with influencers, and I think like WWE doesn't care at this point, but just be mindful of who you bring when it comes to influencers, because I've seen some that are very problematic and like, oh yeah, they're in wrestling, but WWE, we already know what's going on backstage, so it's like, okay, I guess they're not appealing to us; they're appealing to the casual fans, I guess.
Or I will say, just for all the comment people, do not come after Betty White, because she was on Raw, she was fabulous, and I will stand Betty White to my last dying breath. So like, she could do whatever she wanted in her whole life, and I would be happy for her.
Yes. I'm like, boss man Tony Khan, I'm waiting for you to put Keenan Kell on AEW, because I saw Anthony Bowman took a photo with Keenan. I'm waiting for them to be on AEW. just
a good burger segment.
Yeah, just like a solid segment. They don't have to be there every week. Just give them something to do. Just give them something. That's all I'm waiting for. And I know people are saying Sabrina Carpenter is coming to WWE 50-50 on that, because I gotta take a look to see how much she pays. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's pushing for Sabrina Carpenter to come in.
Like, it can't be that hard to get Sarah Michelle Gellar to do something. Her husband used to work there, for crying out loud. Like, let's Like that. Oh, if we would have gotten the Buffy relaunch, could you imagine what we could have gotten? Oh, my heart just got sad again.
Because it was supposed to be. I think it was. I don't think on Netflix. If it was on Netflix, okay, then that would be something of a crossover I could see.
But
it
was going to be on Hulu. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because like maybe that's on the AEW. Because I know they do stuff with HBO Max, so it's like having that crossover appeal.
Yeah. Oh, how about this for AEW? Can we please get Matt Smith on something? Demon Targaryen, please, riding in an Iron Dragon. Doctor Who makes an appearance.
Oh my god!
Not as Doctor Who, but you know.
Shout out to Jeffrey in the chat. Yes, Vanessa Hudgens, because we did see her and Topanga, Daniel Fisher, take a photo with Danhausen earlier today.
They could be the dancers.
Oh my god! Well, I mean, Vanessa does have some dancing skills, and Danielle has dancing skills too. I will say that. And plus, like, if you kind of are a fan of Boy Meets World, you know Topanga's been a wrestling fan all her life because Mick Foley was on Boy Meets World, Vader was on Boy Meets World, so she
what
knows
do they
her.
Call them? Ghoulhousings?
Yeah.
That's okay? Because that's the action figure with him, right?
Yes. Yeah, so that's something to think of. And plus, show some respect to Eric Matthews because I didn't appreciate that they didn't air Will Friedle, and it's like they didn't know his name. They knew Topanga's name, but they did not know Eric Matthews or Will Friedle, the guy who does Eric Matthews. He does Ron Stoppable. I mean, he got some good acting skills, Will Friedle. But yeah, I didn't appreciate that. But we're gonna end on such of a high note because if you guys know, Rebel has been diagnosed with ALS, and we've seen many superstars show support to her regarding ALS as well. Over the weekend, we did see Jeff and Karen Jarrett, Harley Cameron. We also saw the Jacksonville Jaguars cheerleaders. Shout out to our mayor said in the chat, it is Monday Night Mayor, so you know what that means. But as I mentioned, we had Jeff and Karen Jarrett. We had Harley Cameron. We had the Jackson Jaguar cheerleaders, Lance Archer. If you saw Collision last weekend, we had the conglomeration take part of the Ice Bucket Challenge where they were thrown water by Rhino and the Insane Clown Posse. So I just love, because this is one of the things I love about wrestling is everybody coming together for community. And especially with the fact too, Rebel has been diagnosed with ALS, it just makes me happy to see because we did see mention not just the AEW doing their part, because August 9th, they're going to be doing a show dedicated to Rebel at Atlanta, Georgia. I've seen TNA acknowledge Rebel. I saw Kevin Owens acknowledge Rebel after the post-show at SummerSlam. So it makes me happy to see that she is getting a lot of support. And even Boss Man himself, Tony Khan, participated in the Ice Bucket Challenge, and he challenged people within the Jackson Jaguars organization, which you don't see that many bosses do. So I do give him credit on that. And Victoria, I just wanted to get your thoughts as well, because I think this is something that not just us as fans, but people who love the sport since we were children, this is always the stuff that definitely warms my heart.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, like, this is the other part of being in this, like, amazing community, right? Is, like, the showing up for one another and the showing up for in this way. And I think it's just one of the, you know, the parts where people who don't understand it or will look at it once or twice will be like that weird thing where people hit each other with chairs, you know? But in reality, it's this community that really does support each other. And, you know, especially something like this, it's heartbreaking to watch someone and so young, so beautiful in the prime of their life go through this. And I think the support is just kind of amazing. And like, keep it up, everyone.
And they're keeping it up because so far RJ City did the Ice Bucket Challenge on his socials just now, and he challenged The Undertaker. So I don't know if The Undertaker's going to do that, so we shall see. But there are going to be more people challenging it because I know a few AEW stars challenge more people maybe WWT could take part of the Ice Bucket Challenge and we could challenge some people in the women's wrestling space. Because, like I said, this is a part of women's wrestling, and that's something that we really take very seriously. And also to Boss Lady TK, I am proposing that all of us wear Rebel Heart shirts when they come to Georgia on her tribute show. I'm proposing that. Everybody wears a Rebel shirt. Get a band right now. It'll be a fun night. So I'm proposing everybody from the WWT panel get a shirt, get a band so we can support Rebel.
Absolutely. And I have not done the Ice Bucket Challenge in a long time, but I'd be willing to take it on again. Also, I think that Mark Calloway should do it for his last podcast episode, since, you know, he's going to be done at some point soon with it. So, and with a bang, do something good with it.
Yes. Yes, that would be good too. And plus, I'm pretty sure we're going to see more stars take part in the Ice Bucket Challenge. So, and who knows, maybe I may be doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. But we wanted to end on a high note for WWT Live on Monday, because we got to get ready for Monday Night Raw. It's happening at the top of the hour. But Victoria, where can the people find you?
You can find me all the places at Victoria Waco, and you'll start seeing some more wrestling content coming out of me now that life is back kind of at normal and I'm not traveling as much.
Yes. Shout out, first off, you can find me chirping sporadically as much as I can for WWT Live. Wednesdays, you know, it's Timeless Elite Wednesdays with me, because we're on the road to AEW All in Wembley Stadium. We're not that far away. It's getting closer and closer to the biggest event of the summer for AEW. Obviously, we're continuing the Continental Cup. Moxley's going to be taking on Jungle Jack Perry this Wednesday, and I'm sure we're going to have more matches announced. But it's starting to get pretty interesting and pick up. Obviously, of course, Thursdays, you can hang out with me because I'm handling TNA. I'm giving you exclusive footage of the TNA Knockouts TV tournament, because now we're down to the final four. Who is it going to be? We have Indy Hartwell, Em by Elegance, Heather by Elegance, and Jada Stone. So one of these four ladies is going to be your inaugural Knockouts TV champion. I will not be going to London this year, but you will be getting a watch along for AEW All In. There also will be a watch along for TNA Lockdown, because the match card looks pretty good. So I will definitely be doing that. Also, make sure to follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11, because I have so much content happening. Please follow ISPW. Shout out to Tommy Fiera and everybody else, because they're going to be back in Wildwood next week. Yep, next week. Next Thursday, they'll be back in Wildwood. So if you did not see them last month, please make sure to see them. And also, if you did not get my announcement last week, I am in the running for SSPW's female commissioner for their women's division. It is up on their Facebook page, so please, please, please vote. I am up against two powerhouses in wrestling, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. So any support that I can get, I'll be talking about this all week. So any support, and it's all hands on deck. Shout out to everyone.
Vote for Courtney.
Yes.
Courtney.
Yes, vote. Vote on their Facebook page. Vote. It's on their Facebook page. So make sure to vote. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the mayor said, who you will see, because he will be doing Monday Night Mayor. Hopefully the check is cleared. Shout out to Jeffrey, Bosa, Aaron Teagle, our producer from the future, Dylan, Lynette, all of you for joining with us on this Monday edition of WWT Live. And obviously, shout out to our boss lady, because she is traveling at the moment, but I think she'll be back on Wednesday, because, you know, she's doing work. She's trying to get women's wrestling talk national. So that's what she's doing. So, but we do want to thank everybody for joining us on Monday's edition of WWT Live. And thank you again for supporting Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet. And we'll see you back on Wednesday.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.